Hey everybody, Goosebumps or Dummies back at it again with another video, and you may have noticed there's been a little hiatus on videos as of recently, and that's because I've been sick. I've had a sore throat, which is an understatement. It was actually swollen, my entire throat, and it's still weird talking so much since I've been pretty untalkative the past couple days, but still, we are finally back, and goddamn. I'm out of breath already. I've not done a video in like 7 days, so we're gonna be talking about a little history lesson for Goosebumps, and this may be something some of you aren't aware of, or don't really know much about. That would be the 2003 to 2008 reprints. So these feature the classic covers, most of them. We'll get to that in a minute, and they have a new font, a very obviously new font compared to the 90s font. You can see here, they look different, very different. Stine's in a different kind of font. Goosebumps is in the 2000s font for Goosebumps Series 2000. Scholastic's logo is right under the title, and the title's in the same font Stine's in, I believe. Yeah, it's a lot more bolder looking. The spine's also very different, as you can see here. All of these look pretty similar to this, and the backs look really different. Very, very different, to be exact. These are not insanely uncommon in thrift stores. I actually think these aren't rare at all, really, but there's some that do vary in rarity, and in personal experience, the ones halfway through the series, roughly like books 30 to 40 in that area, they're impossible to find. I only have a couple of those. But some of those are common in that area, but some of them are really hard to find. And surprisingly, later series books and earlier-ish series books are pretty simple, pretty easy to find. No difficulty there, for me at least. I don't know if it varies or if that's just a common trend. Maybe it depends on release dates, which ones came out earliest, which ones came out latest. But either way, I have trouble finding the Midway series ones, and there's actually only 57 reprints in this kind of format, because we'll get to others in a minute. And these came out from 2003 to 2008, but they never got to do, probably because these weren't bestsellers. 3 of these being pretty obvious why, 2 of them kind of obvious too. Those being Phantom of the Auditorium, not a bestseller obviously, Legend of the Lost Legend, which by the way is apparently one of the best-selling Goosebumps books of all time. It made number 10, according to Scholastic, but didn't get a 2000 reprint. Maybe it would be next. Maybe it would come out with, well, next up, Werewolf Skin, and then I Live in Your Basement, and then maybe Monster Before. I don't know. I think these came out in waves. I know there was, like, at least a couple released per year. Kind of what they're doing right now with the Goosebumps classic reprints. Hopefully that continues on into 2025. Here's praying. And, yeah, those were the 5 books that weren't actually reprinted into this format. And some of them have been reprinted. Only one of them, actually. I believe that was Legend of the Lost Legend, which got featured in a Retro 10. But other than that, those weren't reprinted at all. That might have been in some sort of collection book, but I highly don't think that's likely. I don't really remember anything like that. Yeah, those ones have just been since unreprinted. Besides the classic series, where Phantom of the Auditorium also got reprinted. I almost forgot about that. Could have made a pretty big fuck up there. 2 of the books in the series, these 2 in particular, got new covers, which was pretty interesting. This was actually done by Tim Jacobus, both of these, and the originals were actually done by 2 different artists, I believe. Maybe the same one, I don't know, but I think one of them was Jim Thiessen or something. I'm bad with these names. I do not know these artists, like, at all. I think it was Stay Out of the Basement one. You were right. Stay Out of the Basement, fuck, and Be Careful What You Wish For. Those were not done originally by Tim Jacobus, but they are done by him here. And I think he did a good job. I think this one is actually really, really solid. It doesn't feel like it's good for the book. Like, it just looks kind of off, but it looks the best here. This one looks like a Goosebumps book for sure. Could have even been a GYG, even though those weren't actually done by Tim Jacobus. Those were done by Mark Nagata. Great artists, too. 55 of them still got the same old covers, but those were the exceptions because they wanted Tim Jacobus to get a little whirl at those, since he never got to because I think he was on vacation for when those came out, so womp womp. You might be also wondering, what about these 2 things? Because they're in the same format, only they're thick as fuck, just like my ass. So, these things, I believe, came out in the same year, same month, and that was 2004. Am I right? Yes, I am right. 2004, November 2004. And they're just little collections of free Goosebumps books put into one. And it's pretty obvious which ones they are. This is 1 to 3. This is 4 to 5, or to 6, sorry. So yeah, 3 in each, just as combined books 1 to 6. And yeah, they're just thrown in there. Yeah, pretty cool. Nothing really crazy to talk about there, but they did come out in there, and they look like them, so I thought I'd mention them. But also something else I quickly mention. We're getting on to so much shit here today. These bad boys. So these kind of count. They have a similar fonts, I should say, but they don't look identical. But they still came out in the 2003 to 2008 reprint era. And these came out, I believe, in order. I got them here. These two came out, I believe, both in September of 2003. Then this came out sometime 2004. This is the only Tales reprints up to date that isn't from the 90s, by the way, because there were 90s Tales reprints, but it was only for the first 3, and yeah, those were just the 90s. There's no modern Tales reprints from what I'm aware of. And also, this came out in 2005, the Dummy Collection. So yeah, pretty interesting. Those exist too, and that's about it for what actually came out in those years and stuff, and like the major differences. But these things should not be overlooked in Goosebumps' history. They actually played a major part in it, surprisingly. They actually were re-released to test the market, to see if people still wanted Goosebumps, and yeah, they were bought, to say the least. Basically, thank them for Horrorland, Hall of Horrors, Most Wanted, and so on. Because if we didn't get those, I'm sure we'd gotten something someday, but still, they definitely helped resurrect the franchise, to say the least. So, they do play a significant role in Goosebumps' history. And yeah, those are the 2003-2008 reprints. That's the era when they came out. There's lots of different things that happened for Goosebumps in book releases and stuff. Lots of different books were re-released, and Tales was fucking reprinted in there, and that's the only Tales reprint to date besides the 90s reprints. And if you count the short story comics, I guess. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me if I missed anything. Do you want to see a history video on the classic Goosebumps reprints? Maybe I'll talk about the Tales reprints that did happen in the 90s. Maybe the FBX comics, something like that. I thought I'd just do a quick history lesson today. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.